Hi gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to prep, pleat, iron, and fold the Koorai Saree so that it is ready and looks beautiful on the tray. This is perfect if you are a bridal makeup artist and have been tasked with prepping, pleating, and presenting the Koorai Saree on a tray, or if you want to DIY it yourself and you don't know how to do it and you don't know how to make it look beautiful on the tray, but also super functional and get it ready so that you can quickly get dressed on the day of your wedding. So let's get started. To make your job super easy, let's iron the entire saree first. Once you've ironed the entire saree, you're going to pleat the pallu. So I'm going to show you how to pleat the pallu. You are going to lay it flat on an ironing board or a table or any other flat surface. Decide the width of the pleat you'd like to achieve and take the first layer based on that width, and then pick up the saree and lay it over the next layer. Once you've got the first layer down, if your saree is behaving like mine is right now, where it's kind of puffy and it's not really listening, you can kind of press it down, and if that's still not good enough, you can pin as you go. I like to do that with every 2 to 3 pleats so that I don't lose my hard work if it all comes undone. The pins are there to hold it all in place. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna do the next layer. And basically you just repeat this process until you get to the other end of the saree. So the one difference that I'm showing here that is not in my pallu pleating video is that the nice end of the saree is on both sides of the pallu. And this is especially important for brides because, I mean, even this part, so for example, this is the inside of the saree, and if you're just a guest or just everyday wear, it's fine. But obviously brides are gonna get photographed, and so you want both the outside and the inside to be the good side of the saree. So that's why I've included that on this side. You might be wondering, what are you gonna do once you get to the chest pleats? And I'll show you what to do so that it's the right side of the saree. Once you have pleated the pallu and you're happy with the pleats, you can iron it down. I added another safety pin here to just help me during the ironing process. And then now I'm just gonna press down all the pleats. So let's do the front pleats now. So to take the front pleats, what I'm gonna do is, if you're doing it for yourself, you can just wrap it around yourself, but you wanna make sure you're keeping in mind whoever the bride is, so that you are taking the pleats at the right spot. So it's basically just one twirl around, and then this is where the pleats would start. So I'm just gonna start pleating here. And it's usually 5 or 6 pleats that you can accomplish here, and then you can always add extras once you go to drape. Once you have pleated the front pleats and you're happy with them, you just wanna stagger them, and then once you've pleated, you wanna just gather them at the top and stagger them ever so slightly, and then once you're happy with how they're staggered, pin them together. All right, so then what you're gonna do is gather the pleats right to the bottom. And this is just so that you can lay it over the ironing board or wherever you're gonna pin the bottom together. Okay, so you wanna do the right side facing the ironing table and then the underside of the saree facing you. So I'm just gonna lay it down like that. And then what you're gonna do now is fan out these front pleats so that you don't want these pleats to just go down straight. You want it to fan out, and that's what I'm gonna try to achieve here. And then iron in the inside folds. You might be wondering, why am I only ironing the inside folds? It's because you want the outside of this drape to still look organic and that it flows freely, but then the inside, if you are able to press it down, it just gives it a little bit of structure, which looks that much more beautiful, especially for a bride on her wedding day. So this is the top of the saree, and this is where I put the pin after pleating. And so you see how the pleats here are super close together, which is what we want at the top. Okay, now at the bottom, what we want is a little bit of a flare. So what I'm gonna do is position these pleats so that they flare out beautifully and give you that beautiful shape that you want when draping the front pleats. You don't want it to be straight and kind of look like a vesti almost. You want it to have that flare. Now this is the underside, so remember that. This is not the good side, this is the underside. I'm going to iron down just the inside pleats very lightly so that the outside folds are still organic and kind of puffy. And I'm just gonna show you what the outside should look like. So see how this is nicely pressed down and you can see these defined folds? The outside is not. So it has that puffiness about it, which is what you want. Okay, final step before we start folding is to iron out our pallu pleats. So I'm taking my pallu, laying it down on the ironing board, and at the top you want to put the last safety pin, and then you want to just carefully fan out the pleats. Now if you remember, we had the good side of the pallu on both, or good side of the sari on both sides of the pallu. What you're going to do here is just flip the sari so that you still get the good side of the border for the pallu pleats as well. So you get the best of both worlds. Good side of the sari here, but also good side of the border here. And you're just flipping it here, like that. You want to really take your time with these chest pleats because it's the part of the drape that most people will see, and as a bride you want to make sure that the chest pleats are perfect. So really take your time and extra care here. And then I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to iron these down. And then what you want to do is lift. And then what I've done here is just pulled it up a little bit so that I can go from really pressed down pleats to a little bit less pressed down, so that contrast is not super obvious. So what you want to do is grab the sari at the front pleats, so where you put the safety pin, and bring that and lay it over the ironing board, kind of like what you did to iron down the front pleats. What you want to do is take the time here to the part of the sari that's not pleated, you want to just let that hang, and then you want to just focus on the pleats right now. So the pleats that you did earlier, fan them out. So what you're going to do, once you're happy with how these front pleats look, you're going to take the inside, so this is the inside of the sari, and do accordion pleats like that. And what you want to achieve here is a straight edge on this end. Once you've taken care of the inside of the sari, you want to do the other side. And so what I'm going to do is pick up the pallu and bring it up, and you want to just do the same thing. So an accordion pleat back and forth, making sure you're keeping inside the lines that you created with the other side of the sari. So an accordion pleat here, and then another one here. So you want to just keep doing that until you get to where you've ironed the pallu pleats. Do it very carefully, making sure all of the pleats are staying in line. That's about as much I can do. So I'm gonna let this hang because this is gonna go on the outside. Now we're facing the inside of the fold. I'm just gonna put my hand here and kind of nicely guide all of this fabric. You don't have to worry too much about this part because it's gonna go around here. So if you're going to save part of the pleats, you wanna make sure you're saving this part and this part. So what you're gonna do is now fold this in. Okay, and you just wanna make sure there's nothing sticking out on this side. And then what you're gonna do, pick up the sari. Now you've got your pallu pleats. And then what you can do is flip it over again, and then take all of this and do little folds like that, and tuck this in very carefully into here. And then you have your beautiful fold. You wanna make sure everything holds together. So you wanna just add pins strategically, preferably not including the outside layers, and just add them on all four corners of the little sari pillow that you've created. And so for here, this corner, you might just want to add the pin here. You want to make sure this is all nice and secure because it's going to get handled a lot on the day of the wedding. And so you don't want any of your hard work going undone. And that's it. This is a beautiful way to present the Koorai Saree on the wedding day. It holds all of the pleats in place. It's also super practical because as most of you know, there's not a lot of time to change into the Koorai Saree, and so to have all of the pleats pinned and ready to go, changing goes by much faster. and it just looks beautiful on the tray. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you try it out. And if you are watching, I'd love to know, are you the makeup artist or are you the bride? And if you're neither of those things, how did you come across this video? Leave it in the comments box below. If you found this useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in a future video.